Hello everyone, my name is SmidgeJ, and today I'm going to try something different. I want to start a new build series where I randomly generate a few words and then try and build something in Minecraft that relates to those words. Alright, let's get into it. I'm on the random word generator. I'm going to click the button to generate 5 random words. Let's see, we've got ceiling, memorandum, eat, endorse, and camp. So now I have to try and think of something to build using these 5 words. So my words are ceiling, memorandum, eat, endorse, and camp. Now I'm not going to use all of these words to build the thing, but I'm going to use some of them and tie it in. So here at the start I'm just clearing out some land and building a platform, because what I want to do is I want to build a sort of a campsite that's upside down, focus on a large eating tent, and yeah, so I'm building a ground level here I guess, and then I'm going to start in a moment building a tent. I'm basing this off the scout camps that I used to go on when I was in the scout group. So here I'm starting to experiment with the shape of what I want this tent to be. It's going to be like a grand marquee type thing. And I'm trying a bit with the shape, and I settle on this shape here. Now inside these tents we would normally have fairy lights all along the supporting poles of the tent that would provide light. So I'm using the end rods as, well, that pretty much, it's fairy lights on the supporting poles to provide light throughout the tent. And I'm just attaching the poles to the floor. It's a little bit weird to see because it's all upside down, but where I'm standing is the roof of the tent. And the moss is the ground. I'm using moss, by the way, because it's got a nice grass-ish texture on the bottom as well. Here I'm just trying to build the tables. These would be like, you know, foldable wooden tables and wooden benches, easy to pack up and move, because, you know, this isn't something where you stay for a while. You're only there for a short amount of time and you want to be able to pack up and move everything. These are the guy ropes, or guide ropes, I'm not actually sure what they're called, but they go from the poles of the tent to the ground and anchor it in place. So I decided, instead of building upside down, I would build down to the actual ground to create sort of a weird abomination of a tent. So like these guide ropes are legs, I guess, or tentacles maybe. Changing the floor, because in a campsite like this the ground is not going to stay as grass for long, it's going to turn into mud. This little tent is a food prep and storage area, so this is just a smaller tent. Benches for food prep, barrels for storage, and a couple of lanterns on the ceiling. I'm doing the same with the guide ropes, going down to the ground, although I had a bit of trouble working out the shape of these because of where the poles are, the tent poles. So I tried a couple of things and I eventually settled with this, which technically doesn't actually line up with the poles, but it's fine. Alright, so now I'm building sort of a central area, except I decided to do that later, and focus on building individual tents. So this is where you'd sleep in groups of 6 to 8. I put down 8 trapdoors, which I'm using as designs for sleeping bags, so you could put 8 people in here, but in reality you'd probably have 6 people. Scout groups, we work in patrols of 6 usually. So all the tents are the same, that's all standard stuff. Adding in guide ropes for these as well. I'm clearing out a bit of the land just because I need a bit more space to work. But yeah, there's each of the tables in the main mess tent, eating tent, sits 8 people, so I decided that I would have 8 tents, or 8 people to a tent, and there's 10 tents and 10 tables, so there should be enough seats at the table for everyone in this campsite. And here I'm just building a pathway between all the tents because, you know, if people are going to walk this way, it's going to turn into mud as well. Yeah, I'm using packed mud, so you sort of get the impression that it's dry. If it was raining, this would be, you know, slushy, awful, wet mud. It would become very unpleasant to walk on, but this camp exists in the summertime where it's not so much rain. And right here I'm just building a flag, specifically the New Zealand flag because I am from New Zealand and that's the flag that we would have at our scout camps. Alright everyone, that's going to do it for this episode. Like I said, I plan to make this a series, so make sure to leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Bye!